going on? I'm doing great. How are you? How are you? What's up, Snow? Welcome to the live. Happy to have you in. Eat your avocado. Stay warm in this weather. Absolutely. Actually had for lunch, had a little burrito bowl, made it at home. We had the beans in there. We had the sour. I've been doing sauerkraut. Really love sauerkraut for digestive purposes. I've been seeing a world of a difference there. And of course, avocado, chicken, rice, all those great things. And honestly, making a burrito bowl at home, one, they're not going to skimp out on the protein because when you go to these burrito bowl places, they don't be giving you as much meat as you want typically, or you got to pay an arm and a leg to get it. So you're able to, add as much chicken as you want or beef as you want, so you get as much protein as you want. You can really add as many as any topping that you want, and it's cheap too. Like the same price of a burrito bowl that you get, you could probably make 2 to 3 at home. So it's really good, really good. Protein. Can you? Oh, that's awesome, Oscar and Lena. Shout out to you. Appreciate your support. Means a lot. And trust me, I'm never gonna stop saying protein. Protein. Never gonna stop saying it because it's so important, and people got to know. They got to know. Is rice good for you? I read it's not good for metabolism. No, rice is fine. It's a very, I would consider it a pretty simple ingredient food that can be added. I wouldn't sit there and just tell you to eat a bowl of rice on its own, but adding that, building your meal with a base of rice is completely fine. Thank you for always sharing. My pleasure. And it's not going to stop. We're going to keep pumping out content, 2 videos a day. I've been doing 2 videos a day for I don't even know, like a year. So, gonna keep pumping it out, really enjoying it, and I'm glad everyone else is enjoying it too. For all 18 people in here, if you could like the stream, I really appreciate it. We got the first like on there. It keeps pushes out the live, lets people know that I'm live. That way we can, help more people and keep the conversation going. So we really appreciate it. A wild avocado has been spotted. I love that. I love that. I actually used to. I did a limited drop of avocado merch. This was quite a while ago, maybe like 6, 7 months ago. Maybe might do another release of a different design, but I have to get my avocado shirt. It's at my parents' house. So, what's my favorite avocado recipe? You know what? You know what's weird? I literally do not put avocado in a recipe per se. I kind of just add it plain onto like my meals are not very like chef's kiss like these intricate recipes. I'm more for simplicity, so I keep it simple. I made a burrito bowl. I was just talking about, rice, beans, chicken. Like these are just ingredients, but they're not ingredients that make up a meal, but it's not like a specific like recipe what requires cooking and all. I just add avocado on the side to things. Like for example, I had chili, which is a recipe, although I did not make it. A friend did make it, and I added avocado to the side of it. For example, although not many people think of adding avocado to chili, but it's surprisingly pretty good. I'm not skipping your question. If I miss it, just put it back in chat. It's just when I see a question, I will look at the camera as opposed to the chat, and I will go into detail on that question. I probably miss other questions, so just repeat the question if I miss it. For breakfast, 1 egg, pepper, onions, corn, eating with 2 rice cakes. Does that support weight loss? Yes, absolutely. That would only be like, egg 70 calories, peppers, onions, probably like around, 50 or less, 130. And then 2 rice cakes, they're probably like 35 each. So you're looking at something like under 200 calories as a breakfast. So it's pretty low calorie dense. And, you could even get away with adding some egg whites in there for extra protein or maybe even an extra egg. Hey, Taro, welcome to the live. This guy in the avocado sponsor me. What's up, Roblox? Happy to see you in. What's your favorite meal that you make when you're hungry and you don't want to spend ages in the kitchen? Good question. So probably just boiled eggs. Like I'll just boil some eggs, toast some sourdough, cut some avocado, add some fruit, a small drizzle of olive oil because I think it tastes really good on boiled eggs, but got to be cautious with that because olive oil, like an extra second or two of pouring, is adding, an extra 50, 100, 150 calories, possibly, depending on like how the opening of the bottle and how fast it's coming out. Is stevia safe? I would say so. What do I think of fasting for teens? Yeah, you can fast as long as you get your daily nutrients that you need for the day. And let's just say you're doing intermittent fasting, it's really fine at the end of the day. Do you have to stop a calorie deficit if you've been in it for a couple months? Only if you're experiencing diet fatigue symptoms, which are increased cravings, increased things like brain fog. So more brain fog, disturbed sleep, workout performance is not great. These are diet fatigue symptoms. And if you're experiencing these things on an excessive level, it's time to pull back from the deficit and go up to increase your calories a little bit, close to around a maintenance at your new body weight for about 1, 2, 3 weeks. And then you can dive back into a deficit after that. And that can help you get over the hump. Love my content. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. How long did it take me to lose weight? Well, I lost about 65 pounds in a like 6, 7, 8 month time span, I would say. I've been able to keep it off since like 2018, 2019. So like 6, 7 years now. What's my favorite pre-workout meal? Yeah, good question. So I like to keep it really simple. So it could be something as simple as a couple rice cakes. This is like cliche because you see this online, but it works. Rice cakes, a little bit of almond butter, a little bit of bananas, keep it simple. You do not want a meal that's heavy on protein, heavy on fat, because those two things are gonna, even heavy on fiber, those things are gonna slow the digestion. So it's gonna like be this big brick in your stomach while you're actually trying to perform lifts, which can counteract each other because your body's trying to digest. And for digestion, it needs to direct blood flow to the digestive system, but at the same time, the blood flow needs to go to the working muscle. So those two opposing processes, it's going to prioritize digestion at the end of the day, so your workout will suffer. What is my favorite food, healthy or unhealthy? Favorite food, definitely a nice smash burger with sweet potato fries and a cup of Chipotle sauce. Amazing. Simply amazing. And you can make that at home and make it a little bit more like healthy, and then you can go to a restaurant and just go crazy with it. I do a mix. I do more often like at home, but then I do have those times where I do go out and get one. Do you have any advice for people with gout? What? I've heard gout, but let me see what that is exactly. Because I personally haven't worked with a client with gout, and I've heard that term, but I think there's another term for it. Form of arthritis caused by. Oh, it has to do with gout is sort of characterized by too much uric acid in the blood and tissues. Deposit in the joints. Oh, so are you dealing with something like arthritis? What's good for arthritis is you can take something like glucosamine, like anti-inflammatory, and turmeric, omega 3s, and what I just said, glucosamine. Yeah, so those three supplements are really good. Anti-inflammatory foods as well, and that's going to be your fruits, your veggies, mostly whole foods. The sugar and processed foods are relatively pretty pro-inflammation, so you want to minimize those. Am I single? Yes. Do you like my job? I love what I do. I don't even see it as a job. Like, I'm literally just making videos that I really enjoy doing. And I did have, before I went full time as a content creator, as a fitness coach, I was working a job as an insurance broker for 3 years, which I didn't necessarily enjoy, but my hobby was making videos. And I was eventually able to turn that passion into something real, a great community and positivity. And now I just do what I enjoy at the end of the day. So I'm living the dream, and it's not possible with all you great people supporting me. So it means the world. I really, really appreciate it. Your question. Okay, I'm gonna get to it, Roblox. Don't worry. Please tell me for TV, does putting in I'm gonna get to your question. Sorry, I'm getting so many notifications. Please tell me, TV, putting in your weight, height, gender, age, activity level, giving more accurate estimates, or putting in your body fat percentage and height. So I would say that in order to find this is the best way to find your TDE. Those calculators, they're level of accuracy is questionable. It just gives you a very rough amount. It doesn't matter what calculator you're using because there's a lot of different calculators. They take a lot of different details. Basically, though any calculator you use is going to give you a rough number. Okay, great. This seems like a maintenance. You're going to run those amount of calories for 1 week. You're going to see 1 to 2 weeks. You're going to see how your weight moves. If your weight stays within the similar range, and you're going to note this down every single day. You're going to weigh yourself every single day. If you note that your weight is staying around the same range, then you're relatively at that maintenance. So the calculator got it right. But there's going to be times where it doesn't get it right, where let's just see your weight's going up actually. That could be an indicator that, hey, bit of a surplus, let me pull back. And then let's just say you start losing weight. Hey, I'm in a deficit. Maybe I need to increase my calories a little bit. So it requires the starting point is the calculation. And then basically you got to go out in the field and do trial and error to figure out your maintenance. How tall am I? 6 foot. Is a calorie deficit in 10K steps enough for weight loss, or do you have to work out as well? That's enough for weight loss. A calorie deficit. Let's just forget about 10K steps here, which is amazing, but let's just say you're doing calorie deficit and you're doing nothing at all. You're still going to lose fat. If you're not weight training, you might be losing some muscle. 10K steps burns more calories, so it allows you to eat more food while in a deficit, so it makes sustaining a deficit that much easier. How old am I? 26. You sound so much less energetic. It's because my videos, I speed them up. Secret sauce, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody. I speed up my videos 1.3 times. So it's going to sound a lot faster. And obviously for the videos, I'm going to be more enthusiastic because it's a one-liner. It's like a 1-2-liner. I'm not going to sit here screaming for 30 minutes straight. I would lose my voice. Could you talk about the way to lose weight? I'm trying to lose weight. I love your videos. Thank you so much, Miriam. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, as I was saying, it depends how you want to go about it, right? If you don't want to track calories, I have clients that don't want to track calories and we don't need to. The best thing you can start to do is make the small tweaks to whatever you're currently doing might not be working, and that's why you're asking that question. So I would say look at your meal schedule, look at your meals, and question, do I eat protein in every single meal and snack? Do I eat fiber in every meal and snack? There should be those 2 items in every meal and snack. You should have healthy fats 1 to 2 times a day, get some fats in. And you want to make sure that majority of your foods are coming from whole foods, which simply means like single ingredient foods. Like, a tomato is a tomato at the end of the day. It doesn't have a bunch of stuff on it, maybe like pesticides, but that's not necessarily part of the chemical composition of what a tomato is. So like tons of whole foods you want to incorporate, and that's going to allow you to feel more satisfied on less amount of food. So less calories, that is, sorry. So you're going to be able to eat, less calories, eat more nutrient dense foods, feel more energy. You want to be able to resistance train. I would say, 2 to 3 times a week is great. Resistance training is just lifting with weights, resistance bands, or body weight movements, something like that. And you want to, set yourself a nice step goal. It's realistic for you. Does it have to be 10K? Not necessarily. I like to give my clients a baseline of like 5K, and then we work up from there. So if you have all those 3 pieces together with all the other things like, sleep, recovery, all those kinds of things, put it all together, do it consistently. It's really a game of consistency, not getting obsessed with trying to be perfect, because quite frankly, you're not going to be perfect. The weight loss journey is always going to be something that is messy along the way. There's going to be adversity, and how you pick yourself up and keep moving forward is going to determine whether you can sustain the results that you're going to get. So, just take each day as it comes. Focus on those small objectives like protein, fiber. Did I do my resistance training? Did I get my steps in? Do that on a consistent basis, and you should lose weight and just get fitter overall over time, and just feel overall better. Sorry, I need some water. It's like cold over here, and like Fiji water. I'm not sponsored. I just got this at Natural spring water. I don't know. It tastes the same as any other water. They just overprice it. Sorry if I've missed questions. I've lost 10 kg so far, and I weigh under 68. I'm currently in a deficit to weigh between 61 and 63, depending on how I feel. You're pretty close. You're very close to your goal. And whatever you're doing now, you don't just keep being consistent because you've already made great progress. What's the worst skipping breakfast, lunch, or dinner? It doesn't necessarily matter what you're skipping. If you're doing like some kind of intermittent fast, that skipping a meal, because this idea of breakfast, lunch, and dinner was more so probably, I don't know the exact history on it, but it was definitely created by companies that produce food, like breakfast foods, for example. You don't have to follow a breakfast, lunch, dinner structure. Like you could just say, I eat 2 meals and a snack in a day, and that can be spaced out however you prefer. It's just what matters the most is, am I meeting my daily nutrient needs, my protein, my healthy fat? Am I getting enough fiber? Am I getting enough vitamin C? Am I getting enough vitamin D? Am I getting enough zinc? All that stuff. So you get that mostly through, and you get it pretty quickly. Like it's not like there's a lot of different vitamins and minerals, and it can be kind of like, oh my gosh, what foods do I need to get all these in? But whole foods tend to cover your bases a lot. Like you could get a big chunk of your nutrient needs with like a meal, like a salmon and avocado and broccoli and carrot, something like that. You could literally get a lot of the nutrients that you need for the day with that meal just alone. Egg yolks too. Nature's multivitamin. I always say it. We got 44 people in here. Love to see it. Let's go. If we get some more likes on the stream, I would love you forever. And I'm going to keep answering questions. Love from the UK. Harleen, I love you right back from Canada. I need to lose weight fast, so I'm eating 1,000 calories a day. Why do you need to lose weight fast? Honestly, not a fan of fast weight loss unless you have a competition coming up in which it's required, like a bodybuilding competition, like a weight cut for a fight. Otherwise, fast weight loss usually just ends up in unsustainable methods to get there, and then you end up gaining the weight back and rebounding, and you're just going to keep spinning your tires. Should I do ab workouts and take more steps? Do both. Hey, what's going on, Belle? Welcome to the stream. Excuse me. What's going on, you loves? Welcome to the stream. My TDT with McCradle 15 or so, eating 1,000 every day. 1,000's typically a deficit for anybody, so it could be a bit restrictive. You could probably go up to like 13, 14 and still be in a deficit and lose weight at a sustainable rate. How to lose fat? Yeah, great question. So I know you're probably just getting in here, so I will answer it again. Basically, to kind of simplify it so I can get to other questions and not go on this long tangent, because losing fat is such a broad question. There's a lot of moving parts, but the most simple things that you can do: add more protein and fiber to every meal and snack, add healthy fats to 1 to 2 meals. You want to set yourself a step goal: 5, 6, 7, 10K, whatever's realistic for you. Be consistent with that. And also resistance train 2 to 4 times a week, or 2 to 3 times a week minimum. That's just be training with weights, resistance bands, body weight. And don't be so hard on yourself if there's a little bit of a hiccup along the way, because as a human, you're not going to be perfect. It's just how fast can you rebound and get back on plan and be consistent with it. How do I build muscle? Do men generally build muscle? Yeah, they do, because we have a hormone in greater amounts called testosterone, and testosterone directly helps support and build lean muscle mass. So, you'll see women bodybuilders, they take testosterone. You as a woman, you have testosterone, but in very low amounts. So that's why men are typically like the top male athletes are going to be, I guess, better than the top female athletes typically at a variety of things. And that's where we don't compete together, because we have more testosterone. We're going to have more lean muscle mass. We're going to have better power output. We're going to be faster. We're going to be stronger. So yeah, that would be the main reason. Just the hormonal differences alone. And then the hormonal differences impact things like bone density and all those other things. Limb lengths and everything. How should I calculate the amount of calories should I be consuming to be in a deficit to lose weight? So simplest way to do it, go to tdeecalculator.net. Put in all your details that it asks. It's going to give you a rough estimate of a maintenance calories. You're going to eat, maybe like 200 to 300 calories less. You're going to track your weigh-ins and see how your weight moves. If your weight is going down, then congratulations, you're in a deficit. If it's not moving, decrease by 50 to 100, try again. And if it's going up, then you definitely need to increase it more, so maybe like 200 to 300, and keep testing it out. So it does require a little bit of trial and error, but once you do find it, you can pretty much cruise on it for quite a while. 10K steps a day will help me lose fat faster. Yeah, absolutely it will. How many clients do I have? I think I'm carrying around like 35 right now, which is the amount of effort that I put into my clients is so much. Like, I put so much effort into my clients. We're talking every single day. I'm overlooking their plans, making sure, holding them accountable, addressing any of their questions, giving them feedback. I like to do daily food pictures. So they're sending food pictures through. I'm giving them feedback. It's like I'm reacting to their day of eating every single day. And of course, I give them the blueprints to follow. And with that, I need to keep it relatively limited within my means so I can put that effort into that person to give them, I basically, the whole goal really is to teach them how to do it on their own for the rest of their life. It's not really to keep them in the program. My coaching program is more so like a school in which I take you on as a student. I teach you, I give you those tools that you need. You build up that discipline, you build up the blueprints and the concepts. And once your toolbox is full, you gotten great results, that's when it's your time to graduate. That's when I take on the new clients. So there's always a client flow. I don't keep clients in there for prolonged periods of time. I get them out as soon as they're ready and they've gotten those great results, and then I can bring in the new people. And I'm the only person doing the coaching. There's no assistants, there's no sales reps, there's no anything. It's just me. You're always interacting with me because I would hate to pass, the work that I love to do onto a third party where I'm not even sure that they're doing, you're coaching that person in a correct way. So yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, the long version of it. I love your videos, but what is the healthiest carbs or healthy fat source to be? Pacific wholemeal carbs. I'm not sure what you mean by Pacific wholemeal carbs, but healthy carb sources, can't go wrong. Sweet potatoes, any sort of potato is great. Rice is it's not the most nutrient dense thing, but rice is a pretty like clean whole carb source. Oats are not bad. You have like the cream of rice, the cream of wheat, the cream of wheat. Veggies and fruits, like, they have a bit of carbs. They're not like bananas, like the starchy bananas do have a significant amount of carbs. Apples have a significant, not like significant, but I would say, a decent amount of carbs, as opposed to like berries, which are pretty minuscule, pretty low calorie dense. So I would say there's pretty good carb sources there. And yeah, you can pretty much combine those with protein sources. And I think you're asking about healthy fat sources, which are going to be like egg yolks, salmon, like walnuts, pecans, like hemp hearts, chia seeds, olive oil. So like those are some good healthy fat sources. Chia seeds, yeah, amazing. Hey, you loves, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have lost 10 kgs so far. Currently deficits. Harleen, that's amazing. I think you commented that already, but I really appreciate you, and that's amazing progress. Keep it up. Do you prefer oatmeal or chia pudding? I love them both. You can literally just alternate them and work them both in. Sometimes, what, Whole Foods are awesome because they don't only make you feel good, but they do taste good. They taste very good. And especially when you're used to eating whole foods, you'll sit there and try to eat something that's processed and you'll be like, this kind of tastes like chemicals. Like, you can low key kind of taste it. So they're, I like to incorporate those fun foods. Like, I sneak them in there. Like, I have my Oreo minis. I like my Oreo minis. I can't lie. And I have like a pack, which is like 120 or 30 calories. And then I'll combine that with walnuts. I'll have my protein shake on my bowl of fruit. I just sneak it in there, and it tastes great to me, and um, helps scratch that itch of like having the sweet treats with the fruit. Actually helps too a lot. So I eat processed foods every day. It's really about the ratio. So if you're most people this is how much processed food they're eating, and this is how many whole foods they're eating, and they wonder why their health is not in such a great position. Once you start adding whole foods, naturally the processed foods start to go down. And then that ratio is looking a lot better, and that's when you see a lot of health markers improve over time. But, the processed foods are not completely eliminated. They're just, in very moderate amounts. I've missed like a lot of questions. I'm really behind. According to my deficit, I should be down 80 pounds by now, but I'm only down 50. Why is that? So, according to your deficit, like these hypothetical like calculators and things to record like how much, weight you lose, like calculators don't really account for the individual specifically and what's going on in their body. And there's a lot of moving factors. Being down 50 is amazing. And just because you're not at the 80 doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or your body. Let your body do its thing on its own time, be consistent. And the extra, couple months it might take will be worth it in the long run because you did it the sustainable approach and you're able to keep this weight off for life, which is what we want to do. We don't want fast results. We want to keep the weight off for the rest of our life so that we don't have to deal with the negative consequences associated with having excessive body fat. Please tell me a minimum for a sedentary person, high body on a deficit, how much protein per kilogram? Honestly, for per kilogram, I'm more so well versed in grams, like 0.7. I would say a good minimum is 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. So basically, Roblox times your body weight by 2.2. That's how many pounds you weigh, and then times that by 0.7, and that'll get like the bottom level of amount of protein you should probably get. Excuse me, sorry. Hey, PETA, welcome. Happy to have you in, all the way from Australia. It's probably like Thursday for you at this point with the time zones. I want good advice for muscle recovery because I feel sometimes I just can't because how sore my muscles feel. So muscle soreness is usually very prominent when you first start because your muscles aren't as efficient at recovering because they're not used to, working out so often and being under that resistance. So I would say just be consistent. Just be consistent, and the soreness will go down over time. Make sure you're sleeping. At least 6 to 9 hours is a good range. At least six, ideally like 8 to 9 would be a good amount of sleep. Post workout, and it doesn't have to be immediately, but you want to have something that's high in protein, even high in carbs too, because those two basically your muscles store this form of energy called glycogen, which mainly is like stored carbohydrates. Okay, they can get glycogen from protein and fat, but mainly it's coming from from carbs at the end of the day. So your muscle is going to use that glycogen, and then it's empty, and then you replenish it by filling it up with more carbs. Carbs are going to help the absorption of more protein, so they're protein sparing. So having that protein plus carb meal after your workout is going to be very effective for muscle recovery. And you can do things like dynamic stretches and things as well that might help with soreness. I'm really behind. I'm so sorry if I didn't answer all the questions here. Hi, I've been struggling with insomnia. Doc put me on Ambien, which is a sleep aid. Also triggers nighttime. Is really that bad? Is it really that bad to eat before sleeping? I don't eat breakfast till 1. No, it's fine. You can eat before sleeping. It's like, what are you choosing to eat though? Because if you just go and like, okay, I'm just gonna have, I don't know, I'm just gonna have Biscoff cookies and that's it. Is that gonna be very filling? No. You could probably eat the whole thing of Biscoff. Like they come in like these packs like this, and 4 of them is 150, which is not bad, granted, but the whole thing's maybe like 1,000 calories when you could have gotten the same satiety out of a bowl of fruit that is, maybe 100 to 200 calories. So a lot less calories, same amount of satiety, and you could have thrown a Biscoff cookie in there too, just so you can still get that same taste, and you're not going to be, gaining a bunch of weight on top of it because you're doing the nighttime overeating, which a lot of people do because they just don't make the best choices when it comes to the actual like food combinations that they put together, or lack of food combination because they'll just go for like a bag of chips or something on its own, and a Coke. Do I do any other fitness activities besides weightlifting? I do like I'm come from a background of sports, so I played a lot of baseball, football. So yeah, sometimes I'll go out and like play sports with friends and things. It's really cold out, so not so much right now. I like to go like for like hiking on nature trails. I think it's super awesome. And yeah, like weightlifting is a big part of it. Sometimes I'll do yoga, meditation. Like I did a lot of yoga as a kid. So yeah, there's a few other activities I like to do. 43 kgs at 160 centimeters. Sorry, I'm really bad with the metric system. I don't even know Canada. Like we're supposed to be on the metric system, but we don't really follow it. 160 centimeters, 2 feet. I need to know what that is. Okay, it's 5'2", 43 kgs, 2 pounds. So 5'2", 94. Yeah, I would say you're within like a healthy range, because you're pretty short at the end of the day. So yeah, I would say that's within the healthy range. But then again, I don't know many details. I don't know if you're a woman. I don't know if you're a man. I don't know any pre-existing conditions, so you don't give me a lot here. So just looking at the numbers, it looks healthy, but it might not possibly, just depending on various other factors. Do you wish people ask more about you as a person, less about? No, not at all. Because of course, like you can ask me personal questions and that's fine. But the whole purpose of this channel is to give back to you and help you, especially with your nutrition, your diet, your workouts, just becoming more healthier. That is the reason why I'm on here. It's not really just to answer like questions. A lot of my life is this at the end of the day. So if you're asking me, oh, like, what do you do? Besides this, it's like that's pretty much like the bulk of what I do in my day, because this is something that I really enjoy. This is my passion. And, at the end of the day, it's my job too, which I don't even like to call that, but we spend a lot of times at our jobs. And with mine, I'm lucky to do it as my passion. So, some people before, I would work my 9 to 5 and then work on my passion after. And that was pretty much my life, work and passion. But now like my job and passion are the same thing. So I'm pretty much, just enjoying living the dream, 24/7, which is amazing. And again, I would not be here without all you wonderful people. Love you all so much. It's, truly grateful. Have you ever worked with someone in ED recovery? Yes, I have. I've missed so many questions. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. I've missed so many questions. I'm gonna answer like a few more questions and then I'm gonna get off of this live because I'm gonna go to the gym soon. But the VOD will be uploaded and you can drop your questions on there. It will take some time though. It might be uploaded by tomorrow. My 2 videos, if you could, if you drop a comment on there, I check comments in the evening and then I just go through them and respond to them. So if you have questions there, I'd be happy to respond to those as well. And yeah, I'll take a few more questions here. Can you gain fat while insulin resistance? If you're at maintenance calories, you're not going to gain fat. Okay. Is 4 chicken tenders okay? I keep getting told it'll make me fat bomb, but I don't think that is true. Plus in recovery. No, not necessarily. Depending, especially if you're in recovery, I don't know what way, like which side of the spectrum you're on, because ED can encompass food addiction. It can encompass things like anorexia, bulimia. So, for chicken tenders in of themselves, some chicken tenders are really big and they're really calorie dense. Some of them are relatively smaller, but for chicken tenders on their own necessarily isn't going to cause like fat gain or fat loss. I would recommend, if you're having chicken tenders, try to combine that with some sort of veggie and you have yourself a little bit more balance and it's a little bit more filling, more nutrient dense. And yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with 4 chicken tenders. So that will be the last question that I'm answering. Okay, I'll answer one more because I saw something about a Big Mac. How many calories a Big Mac with fries and a chocolate milkshake? So the fry is like 340. Big Mac's like 550. Depending on the size of the milkshake, that's gonna be like 500 to 700. you're looking at like 14 to like you're looking, yeah, realistically like 14 to 1700 calories somewhere within there, I would say. So it's pretty calorie dense, and I wouldn't recommend eating that on a consistent basis. Are calorie labels on foods not accurate? They can operate within 20% margin of error. So they're not 100% accurate, but they should be relatively accurate within 20%. So, okay, so that will be it. Oh, how to start. Guys, I just like, I can't help it. I'm gonna answer, this is the last question I'm answering, and then I truly have to get off. I really love interacting with you guys, and I'm gonna do more of these. I'm absolutely gonna do more of these. Might go live tomorrow if everything checks out with the schedule. But just answering how to start a daily or weekly workout routine. I would say just keep it simple. Depending on how much time you have, if you have 20 minutes, then you're not going to have time to do some elaborate workout routine. But the fact that you did something and made that effort is going to be better than doing nothing. So you need to realistically look at your schedule and see how much time you have available on each day. And maybe some days you don't really have time available. So then you don't have to do a daily workout routine. Although I would encourage daily steps, and whether that's like getting it indirectly, like I got to walk to this place, or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, for example. Nice way to get steps in without like purposely doing it necessarily. And yeah, like in terms of like working out, like lifting weights, you don't have to lift weights every day. Like I lift weights every other day and give myself a little bit of rest period. So I say a good place to start with weights is like 2-3 times a week, a full body workout. If you're at home, there's a lot of great YouTube videos for weight training that can be really simple and easy to follow. If you're at the gym, like focus on, especially if you're on limited on time, you need to be picking exercises that are the best bang for your buck, hit the most muscle groups. So there's going to be your big compound movements, bench press, deadlift, squatting patterns, hip hinge patterns. So incorporating a lot of those, if you have limited time, will be the best bang for your buck. And yeah, that'll be the last question I answer. Again, really appreciate everyone getting in here, dropping all the amazing questions. I'm so sorry that I missed some questions, because I just like to ramble, and I like to ramble, and sometimes I can just kind of like carry off topic, and I try my best. But luckily we have a comment section. So the comment sections on my recent videos, drop those questions. Drop those questions on the VOD, or this will be uploaded. You can drop questions there. Be happy to answer. And I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next live, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. If not, sometime this weekend. And I hope you have all an amazing rest of your day. Take care now. Bye.